What's going on, Tamers? It's your boy Barney, and today we're back with another deck profile. This is my Evo Cup winning Magnamon X profile. But before we jump into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to every single one of you who watch our videos, every single one of you who support us. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We are so grateful for your help in reaching this milestone. The next milestone is to hit 2,000 subscribers. So let's go. Thank you all again. A big shout out to our 10 YouTube members. They are Mythios, a member for 3 months, Yogo Polo 69 for 3 months, Leppy the Bear, Let Me Cook 775 for 2 months, Literal Lucas, Saxon for a month, Drunk Marcus Run also for 2 months, Clouds also for a month, Ryan for 21 days, and Moral Atheist for 13 days. You guys who support us, honestly, it means the world to us. We love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without further ado, let's jump into the deck profile. So first off, we're gonna talk about my matches. So obviously, I went 4-0. We had 4 whole rounds, which was nice for once. We had 4 rounds. Round 1, I played against Secon, and let me tell you, immunity is a godsend. It's just so great to swing while you have immunity and not have to worry about, oh my goodness, I'm gonna hit a chaos deck and scared. For everybody, this is why we didn't put Secon on our tier list. It's not a bad deck, but you're gonna have a tough time into Magna X. And frankly, if you wanna play Secon, you probably should just play either Vaccine Armors or Vaccine. I've seen some talks about Vaccine as a deck being able to counter the likes of Magnamon, which is fair. So if you're thinking about playing Secon or you want to play Secon, you might be better off doing something like that. Not saying that I know much about it because my Secon days are behind me, but that's just what I've been hearing. We 2-0'd the Secon match. My second round we played against Black War Gray OTK. I won the first game pretty convincingly. The second game was sketchy. Second game was sketchy because I couldn't close it out in time, and I was about to pass turn by digivolving into a Magnamon, and I unfortunately didn't have a yellow source and I didn't have Awakening in my hand. I was gonna Blinding Ray so I could get into my Magna X for cheaper. It wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day because he had every card in hand. He had 4 Gravity Crushes and like at least 2 Blinding Rays in hand. So it wouldn't have mattered. He'd have been able to gain memory anyways. I ended up giving him 5 on a Magna X Digi-Evolution. And I did that because I was like, it's entirely possible that he comes out of Raising, goes into a promo Black or Gray stack, and I get screwed. And that's what happened. He was able to find the pieces and pop off. He had the BT8 Metal Gray underneath, so he was able to swing over my Magna X so that I couldn't get bigger than him. So that was unfortunate, but luckily my security came up super clutch, which is, you know, we do have a fair amount of security options in here. So it was really nice. He took out my whole security. When I was at 1 security, I blocked that attack, hoping that my last check would be a Magnamon as long as he wouldn't swing into my Vmon. So he didn't have enough sources to probably swing into the Vmon. I think he had like 3, so he basically had like 1 more attack. So he had to swing at security. That check was security Magnamon, which I was able to de-digivolve the Black or Gray, and then digivolve my Vmon into that Magnamon, strip a source, which shut off everything. He couldn't even do a Tamer again because he didn't have enough memory. So really good there. We 2-0'd that matchup on the backing of Study Deck Magnamon, essentially. Round 3, we played against DGU Dan, who was playing Tyrant. Won the first game. The second game was sketchy because I misplayed. Dan also misplayed. We were both learning our decks, but definitely had things that I didn't plan for. You know, there was like a Izzy that popped out of security and I thought I could just digivolve into BT8 Magna, swing for game. That unfortunately was a really big misplay on my part. There was one other thing I did. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I should have dealt with his board in a different way that I didn't. And then it snowballed from there. Dan had some misplays as well, but I luckily was able to come out on top of that. 2-0. Let me tell you, Heaven Judgment, busted card. And then last match, we played against DGU Gino, who was playing Mirage. We took that match 2-1. That was also a very sketchy match because it's kind of a race to who sees their things first. More in the way that if Mirage sees the BT13 Magnamon first, you're in a very tough spot because there's nothing you can do about that. You really have to rely on your security, hope that your security comes up big time. So luckily he wasn't able to find his pieces in that match to really get anything going. and I was able to kind of keep them locked out with a Digimon Emperor to one game that I won. The other game that I won, I was able to deal, I think I was like dealing with the Mirage stacks. I dealt with the 2, and then he wasn't able to build up into another Mirage. And he didn't have any setup. He didn't have any, mental trainings, any memory boost. Luckily, I didn't give him any Tamers out of security on my security checks. So he was really just starved for resources, which was really good for me. So that's that. Let's jump into the deck profile. So I'm going to start off with our eggs here. We run a total of 5 eggs. The first 4 obviously are Demi Vs. We run this Demi V for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's a name for a Vmon that we have in the deck. But number 2, the DP buff is really nice. It's an all turns. While it has 2 or more colors, you gain 1000 DP. I do value the DP in this deck way more than I value the draw. I like the draw, but DP is really what matters. So this is our 4 egg. Our 5th egg that we run is the starter deck 8 Demi Vmon. The reason we run this is just so that I can have a 5th egg, because coming off the backing of last format, I like having 5 eggs. And so I kind of want to keep on 5 eggs. I feel like I could get away with running 4 Demi V, but I'm not entirely committed to that just yet. We run this as the 5th egg because we want the name. I don't want anything to digivolve for 1. Spoiler alert. Next up, starting off with the best rookie in the deck, is the promo movie Vmon. So this is when you would digivolve into a free trait if you have a Tamer reduced Digivolution cost by 1. Super important there that it doesn't matter what color the Tamer is. So you can have a black, a white Tamer, spoiler alert again, and you can digivolve into your Magnamon for 2. Inheritable is a not once per turn when attacking. If it has 2 or more colors, draw 1. So really nice if you like take a swing with a Magnamon. Okay, it armor purges, digivolve into BT8, unsuspend, take another swing, draw another card. And then, or if you do the same thing with the Magna X play, really good card. This is basically your draw engine. That's why you can get away with not having it on the eggs. So 4 of this, no shot. Next up, we run 4 of the best searcher for the deck, which is the BT12 Imperial Vmon, because it searches the top 3 cards for a Davis and an Imperial or free trait Digimon. So it's really nice because it grabs our entire deck now that Magna X is a vaccine. And then of course it does grab our Davises as well, which is really nice because why wouldn't you want to grab your Davis, End of turn DNA isn't applicable, but you can run DNAs in this deck because you do have the required colors to do it. So if you wanted to go that route, it works for that as well. We've got 2 of the starter deck 9 Vmons. Reason we run these is because it's a top 3 search for a free trait. I know some people don't run these. They just run those 4 searches. I personally like max value off of my Promo Davis, because if you drop Promo Davis drop either BT12 or starter deck 9 Vmon for search. It's essentially like you're playing a memory boost, but you're getting a Tamer on field instead and a free Digimon that you can later digivolve. So I like having a total of 6 searchers in the deck. I would run more, but space is tight. The last Vmon we run, the reason we run the Demi Vmons is because we have the BT16 Vmon. This is when one of your other Digimon is played or digivolves. If it's green or if it has the free trait, you gain a memory, and then it gains 2000 DP on your turn. So this is really good for making your Magna X big. I definitely had situations where Magna X at base 12k plus the 2k here and the 1k from the egg makes it 15k. And if I didn't have the protection for whatever reason, just being natively 15k on my turn is great to be able to swing over things. If I wanted to swing with something else at security to get the Magna X protection, bumps me up to 18k, which is nice. A naked Magna X is only going to get the 15k, which can be deleted by a ruin mode in security. So having the buff from either the egg or this Vmon is really clutch. I do want to run this at 4. I'm not exactly sure what I'm cutting yet, but this is definitely going up. And not to mention that this is really good playing off of Davis, because you can play Davis, play this, play something else, and then you can gain a memory or you can digivolve something else. Like if you had enough memory, but you maybe don't want to take a swing for whatever reason, you have like 3 memory, you already have a Vmon in play, or you raise the Vmon, you could play Davis, play this Vmon, digivolve Magnamon for 3 and then gain a memory. Or if it's on top of the movie Vmon, you can digivolve for 2 and then gain a memory, make it a 1-cost Digi-Evolution. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. Next up for our champions, we've got 2 different arts here, so let's show them off. First off, we've got the Evolution Cup champion BT13 Magnamon. I really do like this card in terms of gameplay, but I also like the art. I thought it was kind of weird that Magnamon was so dark compared to the background, but somebody pointed out to me that it's kind of like the shadow from being like in front or behind the gold Digisword, which I found to be a really cool detail. So I like that. I just wish the stamp was more readable. I hate that it's gold on top of the gold art. I wish they had better foresight when they were designing that, but it is what it is. Obviously, we run our Evo Cup, so we've got one of that, and then also the other two, the regular alternate arts of the BT13 Magnamon. Now, I run this at 3. I really do like this card. It's definitely one of my favorite Magnamons because I feel like it's very underrated. People tend to cut this card first whenever they're looking to cut stuff, which is understandable. It doesn't have Armor Purge, and generally you want Armor Purge, but let me tell you why this card is great. This card is great because it doesn't have Armor Purge. It says all turns when this Digimon would leave the battle area. That is by deletion, DP reduction, bounce, bottom deck, chaos deck. It doesn't matter how it leaves the battle area. Anything that makes this Digimon leave the battle area, this effect procs. You get to draw a card, and then you get to play a Vmon from source or from your hand. So that means if you have a Vmon in source, you can just replay it and get free value. Or in the event that you're playing against something that source strips your Vmon, that's fine. You can still play the Vmon in your hand, which is really nice. This was really good for me playing into the Levi matchup to try to get around them deleting my stuff. Armor Purge is obviously very helpful in that, but this also just gives me another body to put out in the event that they can't deal with that other body. And that definitely happened against the likes of Tyrant. Swing, I don't Armor Purge. I'm just gonna float out another body. Then, you know, if I hit a starter deck Magna and Security, great. This card is really good. I do generally love to digivolve this in Raising because it has no end digivolving, so I don't feel like I'm losing value for that. And also it's just great to come out of Raising, take that swing at Security. Okay, cool, I die. Then I'll just draw one, replay the Vmon, digivolve and do whatever. I really like this. I would run it at 4 if I had space in the deck, but there are definitely other things I'd rather run. But I like 3 and I wouldn't bump it. Next up, another one we've got 2 arts of. We've got the BT8 Magnamon. So this is the Tamer Party Pack, the Hyper Coliseum art. Really like that. And then we've got the regular BT8 alt arts. So this card is really good because it's a great offensive piece, but it's also really good for buffing up your Magna X. It gains DP on Digivolve for every armor form you have in your trash. There was a point I had 6 armor forms in trash, so I gained 12k DP, and then I digivolved into Magna X, and I got 3k more. So I had 15k plus. That Magnum X was sitting at what, 27k? And it was literally untouchable, which was kind of stupid, to be honest. It was really dumb. This card is great. I would run this at 4. I don't have space. I want to find space to run a 4th one, because there were definitely times I was digging for an extra one, whether to be offensive or just to get a restand. Just it's so hard to find space, but this card is really good. It combos with the deck very nicely. It lets you be offensive. It lets you be really defensive, you know? So definitely like this card. Don't know how I'm gonna run 4 of it, because we run 4 of the busted Magnamon. I'll tell you guys why this card is busted. This card is busted because I don't know. I don't know what band I was thinking when they unveiled this. And I'll preface, I only say busted to describe cards that are really good. I don't actually mean it busted or anything. This card is really good. Security de-digivolve 1. It doesn't matter if it's your Digimon or your opponent's Digimon. You can de-digivolve one of your Digimon so that you can digivolve your Vmon into this. Then at the end of the battle, spoiler, you can digivolve your Digimon into this card. And then when digivolving, you trash top Digi-Evolution source for each color your opponent's Digimon has, and you bounce something with no source to hand. This card is such a great control option, and against Tyrant, this card is just stupid because they're gonna drop a body, and you're like, okay, start a deck Magnamon, bounce whatever body you just dropped. Shivamon, get it out of here. Wish I could see it when Dan had Shivamon on board. But I saw this a lot when he dropped the Grand Kuwaga Ace. I was just like, all right, cool. I'll digivolve for 3, sometimes 2, maybe 1. And then I'm gonna bounce your Grand Kuwaga Ace back to hand, and I'm gonna overflow 4, which is insane value. Insane value. So there is no world that you would run this card at less than 4. This card, oh my lord. Generally, You want to see this in security, at least one, just so that, you know, you can really screw up your opponent's day. But you don't hate seeing this in your hand. This is such a good card. Such a good card. Moving on to the big bad, the boss monster himself. We've got the Magnamon X, the boogeyman of the format. Now I know what some of you guys may be thinking. No, I am not playing this card as much as I love it, as much as I absolutely love how this card looks in person. I know I hated it when it was unveiled, but it looks so much better in person. I'm not running it because I haven't committed to running it in the deck yet. If I somehow end up with 4, I'll commit to running it. But until then, I'll rock base ready. Straight up, I'll just rock base ready. I'll let this sit in its case. Anyways, Magna X, big bad boogeyman. It digivolves for 5 on anything that is a Magnamon. It digivolves for 4 from a level 5. So that's something to consider there. That's why Vaccine doesn't have as tough a time doing it sometimes, because you can go Rapidmon into an Ace and then go into the Magna X. Otherwise, you can just use Awakening to go into it for 3. But in our deck, I do just end up digivolving this for 5 because I'm not always going to see the Awakening. And honestly, it's not as bad just because of the immunity. It's nice. A lot of 5 cost to digivolve things make you be like, like, do I really want to do that? But generally with this, it's like, well, I'm immune. So, okay, I don't mind doing that. It's kind of like Vmon. You're just like, well, I'll just slam this down since it's unaffected by everything. What can you do about it? Probably nothing, you know? It's that type of thing. So it's really good. Now, a little tidbit about Magna X that you might not know, you can actually get this up to 18k on your turn, because what you can do is Awakening, go into this for 3, keep turn, or if you somehow have 5 memory, you can go into this, keep turn. You get the when digivolving, and then you can swing, take out another security, and get the when digivolving again because of the alterns. So you can actually get a 6k buff on this, making this 18k on your turn. And then if your opponent takes out a security on your turn or they do something with their security, you can get another 3k and get the unsuspend immunity and yada, 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 making this 21k. Vaccine definitely has an easier time of doing it, but you can do it in this deck. I had it happen once where I triggered it twice in 1 turn. So cool little thing there. It's just so nice to actually have like a big bad boss monster of the deck, because y'all know I played this deck last format, and BT9 Magna X is fantastic. I love it, but at the same time, it didn't have the immunity. Sure, it had the one it would be deleted, you know, you place on top security, which is cool, but it's like, I want it to live. You know, I want my big bad boss monster to live. This guy lives. This guy lives. I could see why people are afraid of it. Do I think it needs to be banned? No. We'll be talking about this and other things on podcast tonight. So if you guys are watching this, obviously you'll be watching in the future, check out the latest episode of the podcast. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, I run 2 Dexmon. I was only gonna run 1, but I had a lot of situations last format where I was like, I wish I ran 2, and I lost a mirror because he ran 2 Dexmon, and I was like, first of all, I was like, you buddy. But I was like, nah, I really do like this card at 2 because it's just helpful. Sometimes all it takes is your opponent having like 3 Tamers, 2 Digimon on board, and you have a 5-cost Dexmon. This card is also just really good into the Numamon matchup, which I suspect that this deck might struggle into because that deck just got a hell of a lot faster. And you are somewhat fast, but you're also kind of not fast. You weren't even really that fast with the Ukomons, so to say. So we run 2 Dexmon so that we can see it when we need to see it. It's never a bad card to have. Never a bad card to have. I even played it against Tyrant. Like, I was just like, all right, well, 5, I'll just drop it because why not? So really good. I like this at 2. I don't think I would drop it down, to be honest. I think there are too many funky things that can go wide that Magna can't take care of. And yes, I know Judgment is a card, but sometimes you like having a Dexmon. I like Dexmon. Moving on. Tamer lineup. 2, Shu Yulin. A big, I was going to call her an overperformer, but she's not really an overperformer. I would say she performed about to my expectations. She is really good because finally, because your Magna X can stick on the board, you don't have to worry about, first of all, leaving her mind linked, because obviously you don't have a way of getting her back from trash. So you can leave her mind linked and get your reboot. And then offensively, you have Alliance. So combo with Promo Davis, it's really good. You start your turn at 3, you already have the Magna X, play Promo Davis, play a Vmon, then swing your Magna X with Alliance, with that Vmon. All right, cool, you check security, you get the unsuspend, then you can swing for some more checks, depending on what you have in play, how much memory you have. It's just really good. I like her at 2. I do run this because I run, spoiler, black options, is actually why I decided to run her in the first place over the likes of Davis. But to be honest, I wouldn't run the Davis. I actually do like the shoe a lot. It does give some really good pressure to the Magna X when sometimes you wouldn't be able to have that pressure. I know some people run Final Zubagon Punch. Me personally, I just don't have space for my iteration of it. 2 shoe is good enough. Next up, we've got the undeniable, the boy, the king of the deck, Davis Motomiya, the promo movie version. If you guys don't run 4 of this, I don't know why you're not running 4 of this. You should stop watching this video right now and go put 4 in your deck. This card is bonkers. It just combos very nicely with the deck. If you play a Vmon on play, and then if you have a free Digimon in play at the start of your main phase, you gain a memory. Your Magna X is finally a free trait. You know? Need I say more? I honestly, there really isn't much to say about it. He's a memory boost. He's a memory gainer. It's really good. You should be playing this at 4. There's just no world you don't play promo except. Now for my little, Tamer spice, I run not 1, but 2 Digimon Emperor. Y'all know I ran 1 of this last format and I wanted to run 2. Now with the Ukomon, the second Ukomon, I should say, BT16 running around, as well as vaccine armors being a thing, 2 Digimon Emperor can screw up a day depending on what your opponent does. If they pull a Patamon out of raising and they only have a TK memory setter, which most decks will, they'll gain no memory, and you have 2 Digimon Emperor out, their turn is done. That means you shut off the Patamon. They don't have Tamer Destruction as well. So it's really good, and for that reason, I'd actually want to run 3 Digimon Emperor, but again, space is really tight, and there are other things I'd want to run first before I run the 3rd Digimon Emperor. I think 2 is good enough for now. Obviously, this won't stop. 1 won't stop an Uko play, and 2 won't stop an Uko play depending on how much memory they have. If they're at 3 with an Ukomon, it won't stop them, but it will pull them down to 0. If they're at 2, yeah, you're stealing that turn away for sure. So Digimon Emperor is really nice into the meta. I can definitely see a world in a 60 card deck where I'd run this at 4, to be honest, but 60 card decks, am I right? It's just a really good card into the meta. It helped me in the Secon matchup. It helped me in the Tyrant matchup so that he didn't do his Tento effect. It helped me in the Mirage matchup because I had this out. My opponent only had the Betamon in raising and literally couldn't raise lest lose turn, and then I bounced that body next turn. So really good. I really wish I could run more. Now for our option lineup. So first off, we've got 3 Blinding Ray. This is how you're gonna proc Magna X's protection proactively. It's a memory gaining card, which is really nice, but to be honest, the one thing I've always hated about Blinding Ray is it doesn't have a security effect. It's the same thing as Gravity Crush. I like it, but sometimes I don't even need the memory gain, to be honest. I'm thinking I'm gonna try a different card. Shout out to Panzer, Acid Injection. It's a 1 cost, you trash the security, or no, I think you add the security to hand. No, you might trash the security, and then you neg 5k on an opponent's Digimon, which can definitely come up. I definitely had situations where I'm like, damn, like I wish I could like get rid of this one body against Kabuteri, well, yes, Tyrant. Against Tyrant, like I wish I could have gotten rid of this potential ace body. Acid Injection, could have done it. So I like it. I'm gonna run at least 2. I'm gonna try the Acid Injection, see how it works. Also because in security, it adds to hand, which is really clutch. I do like this enough to run it at 2. I just don't think I need 3, but it is also great. Like, it can let you be aggressive. Like you don't have to use this card to proc protection. I definitely use this to facilitate some plays, because one thing that's always been a problem with Armor Rush, or well, I guess Magnamon Armor it is now because it's not so much of a rush deck, is having memory to facilitate your plays. So, could be this, could be that. Next up, the card that I never thought I'd actually like 3 of, but I really do like 3 of it in the deck is Awakening of the Golden Knight. This is a 3 cost to Digivolve, essentially. You're gonna Digivolve one of your Armor form into a Magnamon instinct. That means you can go level 4 Magnamon into level 4 Magnamon. You can go level 4 Magnamon into Magnamon X. So basically it's used to reduce your Digivolution cost by 2. It's also really good because in security, it returns Magnamon from your trash to hand, and you add this card to hand. So I can recycle starter deck Magnamon, I can recycle BT8 if I want, or I can recycle Magnamon X, which is stupid. I thought I would hate seeing this at 3, but to be honest, I like this at 3. 2 would have been too little. I wouldn't have seen it enough because I know I definitely had times where I was like, damn, I wish I could see this card right now. 4 would be too much, I think, for this deck. I know vaccine decks, some of them run it at 4. I think 4 would be too much for this deck, but I like this at 3. Even just using this offensively to be like, all right, cool, like swing Magnamon, then Awakening, Digivolve into another Magnamon so I get the unsuspend and then swing again. I had a case where I did that in the event that I got Dexed because I had the BT13 Magnamon, and if I got Dexed, it would Digivolve that. So I used this to go into another Magnamon so that if they did Dex me, cool, you can Digivolve, but I'll go into BT13. BT13 would get deleted. I get to draw a card, and I get to replay my Vmon from source. So really good. I like this card. Now, because I said the deck struggles from memory, I do run 2 blue memory boosts. I'm not entirely sold, but I'm also not entirely not sold on these cards. I don't know. It really could go either way. So first of all, it doesn't search half the deck, right? Because you've got something in this deck. I've got 8 Tamers, and then I want to say like 12 or 13 options. That's like 20 cards. That's not half. That's a little bit more, or a little bit less than half of the deck isn't searchable, which I've definitely had situations where like I reveal top 4 and there's only 1 option to take. And I'm like, well, I didn't even really need this card, or I didn't need a card to begin with. I just wanted to have it for the memory. But again, like I just wanted to have it for the memory, and I could run the likes of like Howling Memory Boost, which I don't know, that might be nice because it combos with what's it called, Starter Deck Magnamon. But I don't know, I need to try out different things because I just want the memory gain. I definitely just had situations where I just wanted to drop this just so that I can gain some memory later on. I didn't really need any pieces, but I don't know. I do like the memory gain, so it stays for now. It stays for now. Now, for our last 5 cards, we're gonna start with the most busted card in the deck, and this card I actually do legitimately mean it's busted to the point that this card should be hit. Heaven's Judgment. This card is cracked. So this card is native yellow, so Vaccine uses it with ease. I can use it because I have yellow in the deck in the Magnamons and the Magna X. Also, if you have a green Digimon or Tamer in play, you can use this card. It's -6 and then -6k for each color you have in play. So on a single Magnamon X, you're doing a total of -24. Let me tell you, I cleared Tyrant boards multiple times with this card. It's actually disgusting. I personally am a big proponent of hitting this card, not hitting it to 1. I say ban this card because I think the advent of 3-color Digimon in the card game are gonna make cards like this just easily abusable. I know some people are gonna be like, well, you know, 3-color Digimon aren't a problem, or Heavens isn't the problem, 3-color Digimon are. They're not gonna stop making 3-color Digimon, so this is going to be a problem. I know I got Dan on the ban Heavens train because I was playing it against him. And I know what you're saying, you're not running this at 4, so how can you say it's busted? Well, I'm not running it at 4 because I'm trying to be cute, but realistically, I would be running this card at 4. All right, let's get something straight. I would be running this card at 4, at least at 3. But I'm trying to be cute because I've got First Spice, 2 Endless Waltz or Waltz's End. This card is not going to stay at 2, but I do like 1. I had this come up against Sekon. So this card reads, to the end of your opponent's turn, when your Digimon gains, when this Digimon becomes suspended, you delete all your opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to this Digimon. The opponent's turn, this Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's option cards. Against Sekon, I literally played this because I couldn't proc the Magma effect. I played this and I was like, okay, deal with Magnamon. And he couldn't. He's like, I'll play Chaos. Oh. I was like, yeah, can't affect me with option cards. So really nice, but yeah, it's not gonna stay at 2. I think just 1 is fine just for me trying to be cute. Realistically, this would be the 3rd and potentially the 4th Heaven's Judgment. The reason that I'm not going to run Heavens at 4 is because for this deck, this is just as good. Trident Arm. Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon. First of all, that's really good. Any stack that's built on an ace means that this card is way cheaper. Because if you remove that ace, which most times you will, and we don't have many decks that are like stacking sources, this is going to Digivolve 3. This gets around the protections of like can't be deleted or when this Digimon would leave or blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. Digivolve is nice, but then also until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gains the start of your main phase, this Digimon attacks, which is really nice because that means that what it's going to do is when you don't have the Magnamon protection, you're gonna play this card, Digivolve your opponent's Digimon, force them to attack. It goes to their turn, they do their shenanigans, they come up from raising, you know, hopefully it's not a Patamon, they're going to swing. Well, it doesn't matter because if it's a Patamon, you're going to activate your Magnamon effect anyways. But they're going to swing at security, and then you're probably going to let that go through because you're going to get your protection. Or you can block it if it was something that you don't feel like dealing with. But you could also just let them take your security out, and then boom, you've got protection now. So I'm definitely going to run Discord at 2. And I might just honestly end up running Heavens at 3. But that's it. That's our deck profile. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please drop a like and drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about the deck. What changes do you think I can consider that I didn't talk about? How do you guys feel about the deck so far? And also subscribe so that you know when future videos come out. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. And until I talk to you guys the next time, peace out.